Hey, welcome back everyone. So in this one, I wanted to show you how to repair some artwork. So Clip Studio Paint, obviously super powerful, one of my favorite programs. I'm back to doing some book work in it, and it really is the most versatile for book creation, all sorts of things. But I want to show you a quick tip today so say you get done with some artwork, and this is actually a real deal kind of situation of mine that happens quite frequently. I get done with some artwork, or I'm almost done, and I look at it the next day and I'm like, wow, I think I made the forearms too big. And I don't know why I don't see this stuff immediately. I just don't. But there's a couple ways to approach it. You could obviously go back to the line work, which is way up on the top. And I could just take the line work and rescale them and then grab each neighboring color and layer and adjust it. That's probably not a bad way to do it. I mean, it's definitely, it's definitely another way to do it. I'm just going to show you the way I do it. So I create a folder and I just put everything from this. I don't think I need this blue anymore, so I don't need that. Everything from here, I hold shift, click the top and bottom one that I want to select. They all highlight, grab and drop it in that folder. And so obviously it's all in there now. I can duplicate it. Now if the file is too heavy, that might really slow your computer down. Luckily mine's not having an issue, so that's good. And so what I'm going to do is try to adjust this on the group layer. So I'll start with the one over here, and actually what I'll do as well is I'm going to get rid of the blue here. So I'm just going to delete that. I know I got the backup in the other one. I don't want to edit the blue with it if I don't have to, right? I can always drop that back in anyways. So I'm going to go back to the group layer, and I'm going to select the form, and I guess I'll just grab, kind of that intersecting point of the form. I'll hit Command T, and I'm going to drag this down. I'm going to move it over. And maybe a little lower there. Deselect that. And you see it grabbed all of those layers together, kept everything intact. It's just a great way to do it. Now the tricky part will actually come from overlapping areas. This was easy, right? It didn't have any, I could touch up that little gap right there, but it didn't have much to worry about. This is where it gets tricky. So let's get in here. And really, I should probably take the time to do the selection a bit better. Goodness, as soon as I zoom up on this, I'm like, look how bad my line work is. Yikes. And then you probably want to go just outside of that black line art, so you don't leave like a remnant that you got to clean up as much. I would say it's going to be easier to just add a stroke or an additional pen stroke around this forearm area versus cleaning up two edges. You know what I mean? Like if I go through the black line art, I'm going to have two edges to clean up. That's at least the way I look at it. Now keep in mind, if you're zoomed in like this, but you still need to move the canvas, you can hold spacebar, you get that little hand right there, and then just pull and let go of spacebar. So I'll go right through and just, be okay with grabbing a little bit of that yellow. Yes, it will require some touch up, but I don't think it'll be that bad. I mean, I guess I could zoom in even further and get really clean with this. I guess it depends on how much patience you have. And that's about it. You could really get in there and just be super tight to the part where it goes from that black line to the color. So, and let's see, I think, yeah, I'm going to need to go to the intersecting point through here, I believe. So let's try that. Go up through here. Oh, and I lost my line. I could still see my crosshair. That's kind of weird. There it goes. Some kind of video display issue right there. Can't remember ever seeing it do that, actually. Always expect the unexpected with digital art. Clip Studio. But this really is the best program. What made me think to do this, I typically would just do this and not talk about it. And I think I have brought this up in other videos, but what made me think about it was the fact that I was just doing, I just shared on somewhere, somebody was asking, like, what's the best software for comic creation? And to me, it's really not even close. Like, it's just, this software just spanks all the other softwares, like, when it comes to that. Now, what I need to see here is, yeah, so it's basically giving me a little bit of an artifact as I overlap the other art like that, which still won't be a big deal. It's keeping most of it intact. I really want to think about the positioning and again the scale of it. Now, can I zoom back is the question. Probably not, no. So I really should have started zoomed back. Now, another way to get around this is we can come over here and we can increase the size of this little window right here. Where's that next little anchor point right there? And so, and really this is the way to kind of view it. This is what let me see it in the first place. A lot of times I get too close to my artwork and I don't see things like this. It's so silly. But so one way is to send it to your phone. This is before all this, by the way. So you send it to your phone, or you look at this little preview window over here, navigator window, and you could see that, you know, the forms look more proportionate now. I mean, they might even look a touch small. Now, I think I would want this one to be a little bit bigger than the other one, because again, or I don't know if I said this already, but it's this idea that one is further away, right? So we'd probably naturally want the one in the background to be a little bit smaller. Just think of like a perspective line going a little bit higher and tapering down away from us, right? So I sort of want that. I just don't want it to be as big as it was. Like even that, I feel like it's just a little too much. Or maybe I might have to go back and adjust the other one down. But let's say that this is about where we want it. I think that's better than what it was. Now another thing that we can do just to check this before we get too far. By the way, if you don't want to reselect all this, because you see that was kind of a pain, right? Just go to select, convert to selection layer, turns it to this weird green. It basically creates like a mask over here that you can re-access. So just toggle that off. It's just there for safekeeping. But that's, you know what, I'm going to leave this open a little longer. I'm going to now check this like this. I'm going to toggle this down. I'm going to turn this off, turn this one back on. It's almost a little hard to see from back here, but that one form does still look a little bit big. Here, let's do this. Let's go with something in between this. Yeah, so to me right there, that's where it really shows that it's, you know, and I don't know what size you're seeing it at. But if I turn that off and this back on, that feels a bit better. And I feel like that difference in size from the two areas of the form reads better. It reads like there's a little more perspective going on there. Okay, so now the next stage of this is, how do we fix this? It's actually pretty easy. I mean, we've got everything there in front of us. Now, unfortunately, the fades are a little bit trickier, but I don't know, some people will leave that little white gap for dimension, right? So, but I would think you'd still color that. So let's open this back up. Let's drag this back up here. Got lots of layers. I'm a layer crazy kind of guy. So we'll go back to the gray here, and you can really just go back to each layer, and you can do a touch up. That's one way. You can drop a layer over top, and you can get pretty good at blending all this with soft brushes or a mix. Probably the best way is to go right back to the line art itself. Select your line art, fill this in first. All right, because there's no fade here, so you don't have to worry about any of that. And you do want to sort of repeat the process so you have your line art intact. So you see, it's all there in front of us, right? It's not going to be that hard to figure it out, even if we had to, you know, get rid of some areas and drop in some more fades. That's not going to be real time intensive. So I don't really need that line there. Now I could also do another cheat, and I could say, well, you know, this could really just be a shadow. This could round out and be a shadow. It's a bicep, right? And I'm all for taking shortcuts, especially if it doesn't hurt the artwork. If it's like not noticeable, sometimes you get lucky to look better, right? So, I mean, I think comic art is all about making great use of your time and being as efficient as possible. And so now go back to, let's see here, we got the blue here. I guess we could start there even. And I could really just grab, like if you take these two layers off, you go back to your solid. Remember the pink there, those pink bars? I set clipping mask over each one. That's why you got blue, 2 clipping masks. You know, each, I can't see with this thumbnail. What is this? Well, that's the skin tone, 2 clipping masks. Yellow, the suit, 2 clipping masks. So you see the repetitiveness of it. But we could take those 2 clipping masks off. Now we can hold Alt, select the base color, fill that in. It'll expose where I messed up on the selection. Gotta love it. So there's that. And again, this is just a little bit of hiccup that I left behind on the liner. And I'll go back to that, go to transparent with the ink brush, solid brush, erase that out. Okay. And then while I'm here, I'll get this other line that I missed right there. And I think I could have added a little more to that blue. Just a little bit of touching up here. And then go back to the yellow. Again, it would be, well, that's the skin tone. It'd be right here for the clipping mask. Take off the 2 clipping masks, hold Alt, fill that in. So unfortunately, this part's a little kind of, not super tedious, but it's, you know, kind of wish you didn't have to do it, but that's how mistakes are, right? Wish you didn't have any mistakes as you do this stuff, but they're bound to happen here and there. But the main thing I think is that you realize that there's so many ways to fix this as you go. So there's some of the flats. I guess I got a little bit right here I need to fix. So take your time to do all the flats first. Redo the flats like that. And I'm never really critical enough in this area. I always have like little spillovers. I can't color within the lines anymore. I'm just not patient enough. Okay, so now I'll put those clipping masks back on and say, okay, what really stands out? I mean, for the most part, that kind of fixed. I mean, that fixed enough of it. I mean, if you're really critical, you can obviously see there's a bit of difference there. So I would go for the things that are most apparent. And so for something like this, you can really just get in here with almost any brush, get in nice and close, soft brush and do a selection, or you can just select it and sort of, you know, this is a solid brush, right? But if I get in there close enough, I can even make a solid brush work. I can even cross hatch it almost in a sense. To fade it, I can drop it in with a solid, and then I can just blend with this right here. All right, I'm sure you know. I mean, it's not that hard. You can even use a pencil brush. Sometimes I'll do that. But it's not that hard to just drop back in these little fades. And where's my line art again? I got a little more touch up that I missed. So I'm going to go to transparent. I'm going to hit this little edge right here. And this is probably being a little too critical at this point, but it's, once you see it, can't really unsee it. Oh, and then right here. Fill that in. That was bugging me too. And that's really it. You just continue down that road of adjusting things. But like I said, it really is so effective. You know, this program is so effective that you can fix these things relatively painlessly, you know, like in a reasonable amount of time, so that you're not looking at something that you know, maybe decided it was done the previous day. Even though I'm not completely done with this one, but I was getting close, and that's when I saw it. There's nothing worse than getting to that point and then going, you know, I'm just going to start over. Well, you don't have to. You know, you can just do these little edits and fix what you got. And then I could take that blue that I deleted from the other layer. I can duplicate that by going like this. I can drag and drop that into here. And now I can check it one more time. Yeah, and I think that's about right. So here it is with a couple more quick touch-ups. And so let me know what you think of today's video. Hopefully it's helpful. Obviously, Clip Studio is an insanely powerful program. There's lots of different ways to edit your work. You're never truly backed into a corner. It's probably one of the reasons why digital art is, you know, in some of the ways it's superior. In other ways, like I always say, you should still draw and create traditionally as much as possible. It's never one replaces the other things like that. But let me know what you want to see in the future. I'll make sure to get that on the schedule. Thanks so much for watching and for supporting the channel. I really appreciate it. And more on the way soon. Good luck with the art, and bye for now.